These are solutions to Math 252 quiz number 9. Number 1, use the integral test to determine convergence or divergence. So limit b approaches infinity of the integral from 1 to b of x to the negative 0.9 dx. So limit is b approaches infinity of x to the 0.1 over 0.1. Dividing by 0.1 is the same thing as multiplying by 10. Limit b approaches infinity, plug in b to the 0.1 minus plug in 1, you get 1, and that approaches infinity. Since the integral diverges, so does the series diverge by the integral test. Number 2, 1 over 1 radical 1 plus 1 over 2 radical 2, 1 over 3 radical 3. That's summation 1 over n radical n. That's 1 over n to the 3 halves. That converges because it's a p series. P is 3 halves, which is greater than 1. Number 3, a good comparison series is 1 over n. Ignore the ones there. Okay. So compare it to summation 1 over n. Limit n approaches infinity of 1 over n plus 1 over n squared minus 1. Multiply top and bottom by n squared minus 1. Drop this n down. So I have n squared minus 1 over n times n plus 1, which is n squared minus 1 over n squared plus n. This is infinity over infinity. Use L'Hopital's rule. Limit n approaches infinity of 2n over 2n plus 1. L'Hopital's rule again. LHR, L'Hopital's rule, 2 over 2, 1. So whatever happens to one happens to the other. We know summation 1 over n diverges because it's a harmonic series. Therefore, the series itself also diverges by the limit comparison test. Okay, number 4, 1 over n to the n. We'll learn something later called the root test, which will make things easier. We think this converges. Easy way to do this is to compare it to 1 over n squared. Okay, so n to the n is greater than n squared for n greater than 2. N cubed is bigger than n squared, and then the fourth is bigger than n squared. Remember, n is only allowed to be positive integers. Okay. By the reciprocal rule, 1 over n to the n is less than 1 over n squared. And in all summation of 1 over n squared converges because it's a p series where p is 2, which is greater than 1. Therefore, the original series also converges by the comparison test. All right, so that was Math 252, quiz number 9.